Okay. I think we're coming back. Listen, I'm going to do this as many times as it takes. This is my day, and it will go according to my plan. Nothing will stop me from continuing to make these streams. So let's make sure chat is back here. According to my plan, nothing will stop me from continuing to make these streams. All right, so I'm just going to make just going to wait for folks here. Here we go, back up. Thank you for Kyle, you couldn't stop me from doing this. Yeah, I think we're gonna average about 1.5 per hour if things keep up, which is okay with me. I might actually just take a break eventually. But the plan is to reach 6 o'clock. So I will keep restarting these streams, and we will just have this bizarre playlist for people to follow along with. But to review, for people who are still joining, so we have a situation where we kind of are moving along with our days of creation, and all of these animals are acting basically like we would expect them to act, and then we kind of have this fountain in the center here, and this is sort of like even more so than some of these features in the back. This fountain is quite strange. It seems very, deliberately put in the exact center. It is exactly symmetrical, and it is kind of growing out of this bed of gems and crystals and pearls. This is really quite an elaborate setup down here. And it seems like from this bed of jewels, we have amphibians kind of growing and crawling out of this lake, and some truly strange creatures. We have sort of like this, this 3-headed thing right here, and this kind of I guess this is a beetle of some kind. I don't know. Very, very odd. And they're kind of crawling around here into this cave. Very odd. And then this thing, I can't even imagine what this is supposed to be. And here we have our first snake, which, if you're at all familiar with the story, you can imagine is going to be somewhat of a more interesting character as the story continues. Yes. Nikoniko, not sure what the last topic was, but do you have any plans on doing something like better player races? Maybe not with that title. Certainly not. I don't know about that. I don't actually like, if it was up to me, everyone would be playing humans. Or you would play a game that was about everyone playing as elves. And I think there's far more to be gained by everybody having a similar starting point for their character's point of view than pretending to have all these different point of views and essentially all just running human characters. I think it's much more interesting to meet the owls in this one are my favorite. Oh yes, Jose, I agree. But I think it's far more interesting to meet a version of what does the GM think about these dwarves than what does this player think about dwarves. because the player is making all these other kinds of interesting decisions all the time and reacting to it from a human point of view. Yeah, so that's kind of my take on it is GMs kind of have a more robust tool set to really include all of the world building that is necessary to convey an alien point of view from a completely different non-human culture. But halflings. But what about second breakfast? JP Kubert says. Yes, exactly. I mean, you know, I think honestly, I would rather play in an all halflings game than a game. It's good to see you, JP. Than a game where one person is a halfling, and you know, even like the Kender from Dragonlance, right? Or Kinder or whatever they are. Like they tend to think they had a reputation in the day for players kind of behaving badly, because it's like, well, that's what this culture does, and I'm like, well, okay, well, pick a different character then, right? But I have never made that a requirement to play in one of my games. It's just something I wish would be true. So yeah, frankly, I wish we spent more time thinking about how to make different human cultures more interesting to play as, and then adventure in, you know, beyond the borderlands and find all of these weird things, and really get wacky with it. I'm far more interested in that than I am in trying to fix tieflings or something like that. I'm in Twice Dead Mage says I'm in another channel, and we made Dragonborns into reborn corpses of dead dragons, right? I think that's a pretty interesting thing to do, but that's kind of inviting main character syndrome a little bit. I think Matt Colville does a really good job, kind of like giving his players, if you look at his Dusk campaign or Chain of Acheron, he does a really great job kind of giving his players enough to know about their characters, but they still always have to defer to him. Well, not always. That's unfair to generalize it in that way, but they often will defer to him, and then he'll toss it back to them. It's like, oh, that's up to you. But there's like this weird exchange of like, am I getting the elves in your setting right? That I think like, well, we could skip all that if we were all just cool humans. But this is I'm never going to win this fight. But that is the answer to the question of, will I ever do a book about playable races or heritages? And I think the answer is no. So yes, for those of you just joining, we have kind of like this interesting flesh-colored fountain in the middle here. And what are we led to believe? With the symbols that we have available, this is the strangest sight that we have yet seen here. Ike is saying, hello, so happy to see you streaming. Your voice has always been so nice to listen to. No, thank you so much. That's wonderful. What a nice thing to say. What analytical tools do we have to kind of make sense of this symbol? Is this, I mean, if you know anything about the story, perhaps you are led to believe that this is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Perhaps this is it. Perhaps this is a really embellished version of the tree, because after all, don't we see all of these serpents and lizards and strange creatures crawling out of it and into the dark places of the earth? I don't know. Like, is this a demon? Are these the demons of hell that are entering into the world to befoul the creation of God? I don't know. But I think we are much more likely to believe that this is the tree of knowledge of fruit and evil, or this is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? This is the forbidden fruit. We don't have apples. It looks like we might have grapes, which kind of makes you think that maybe old Hieronymus was a teetotaler. I don't know. Perhaps that's the point being made. But yeah, what are all of these crystals and pearls and jewels and everything? I couldn't begin to tell you. I really don't have an idea, but the owl right here, it seems like, you know, perhaps the owl, this is wisdom. Like this is the spirit of creation on the earth. Perhaps this is the Father God of the Trinity. Perhaps there's some kind of allegorical reading that is perhaps lost to us. I'm sure many art historians have their theories about it, but the man didn't exactly explain himself. So, yeah. Jan is saying, just started camping with only a campaign with only humans, made 11 homebrewed mechanically races, human cultures. It worked wonderfully. It delivers the lore of my world to its players when they are making characters. Yes, I think that's a big thing, and I think that's something that a lot of games struggle with, is like giving people meaningful and interesting, informed decisions to make at character creation. Indeed. The first wife of Adam. Yeah. Owls are theorized to be a representation of Lilith. It would be, I think, very strange indeed to find out that Hieronymus Bosch is drawing upon a deuterocanonical legend. I'm not so interested in deciding what Hieronymus Bosch meant by this, but what tools do we have from the painting itself to make these decisions? It's kind of what I'm getting at. This isn't, I don't like to think of this as a guessing game, like find the Trivial Pursuit answer for what this means, but what does this mean to us when we're looking at this now? What impression do we get from it? But yes, I think you know, perhaps this is some kind of reference to pseudepigraphal work, but as we will see, Hieronymus Bosch is perfectly capable of depicting people when he decides to. I think that is you know, certainly within his skill set, and I think it's something that. It would be very strange indeed to have a completely different pictorial interpretation of what was a human being when just below it we have sort of a more classical scene right here. Oh, sure. Well, I mean, the guessing game is fun, and getting things right and all that kind of stuff is good. I think that's great. I just like to play a different game. And yeah, we do have this Escher Bosch Mass. Well, speaking of Escher, we have this very, you know, very twisty sense of perspective. It's almost like, you know, up here we have the horizon line, and we have this perspective that is receding to this vanishing point up here. And then once we go down, we have almost like a completely new vanishing point, a new perspective. To look at which, you know, our vanishing point is on the crown of the, you know, the Nazarite. Okay. Well, the since you asked, the background music here is from a video game study lounge on the Game Chops channel, and it's just a live radio. It's not radio. They call it a radio, but it's running. It plays from a playlist that is supposedly streamer friendly, yeah. So that's where I'm getting it, and there's lots of wonderful like vaporwave and chip tunes and remixes and everything on this channel. So yeah, I hope you do check it out. Okay, so what else is there to say about this? Let's take another look. I think we have here again, we have these grape shapes kind of like growing up on this very, very purposefully placed tree, very close to Adam. And then our scene ends with a bunch of weird birds. We have all of these different, like, you know, this is a very strange bird indeed. It's got, you know, we have, I would say that this is a pheasant. We have a pheasant right here, though. Perhaps this is some interpretation on a peacock or something, but I think we're getting some very elaborate things. I think this ominous frog right here seems to be like crawling out of this dark pool with this beady little eyes. Really steals the show for me when you can zoom in this far. And we have this wonderful Pokemon right here. It seems like some elaborate flightless bird, and I really couldn't tell you what is going on here. Like, why do we have all of these different? And then we have this very, very strange creature down here in the bottom right corner. This sort of like platypus-looking thing, wearing robes and contemplating a codex of some kind. Very strange. I mean, these are highly mysterious images. John wants to know how to join you for the pod at 2. Well, I will. Maybe I need to text John. Have I been neglecting my friend? Just post the Zencaster link here. Here. And I'll play the audio on stream. We don't have to do anything different. I'm using all the same equipment. So yeah, nothing's changing. Miss Selena is saying, mermaid? I don't know. We have all kinds of interesting, like, definitely mythological beasts showing up here. I don't know. I don't have any clue what this thing could be. And that's what I like about it, you know, like a lot of this kind of like, especially this first panel here, kind of leads us down a very traditional interpretation of images, but Bosch is here to confound us. Bosch is here to give us a very idiosyncratic presentation of this image with his own ideas involved in it. Chaocalypse, thank you so much for the kind words. That really means a lot to me. I think you are a tremendous force for good in the world, or at least in my life. Twice Dead Mage says, reading crocodile with a fish eating its lower half. Yes, it could be, right? But this is certainly not the bone structure of a crocodile. I don't know what this is, and I don't think I have any way of knowing it. And then this bird right here is like a rooster that swims, right? This is I think Nessie would certainly love a glow up with a rooster's comb and all that. And you have fish flying, right? We have a hippocamp right here. So yeah, things seem to be going awry. Things seem to be getting quite ominous. No longer do we have these kind of dazzling royal blues. We have this like black pit with these dark shapes swimming beneath it and this strange creature with a book. This is why we look at paintings, right? This is why we, oh, Brandon, oh, it's wonderful. Wonderful to have you here. Yes, just in time to discuss Bosch. The medieval Rorschach test, right? I think whether Bosch intended it to be or not, I think that's what all art is. We are confounded only with the image and our own associations. And we cheat when we look up Wikipedia and the wall text before we come to our own conclusions, right? we get some. We're getting some interesting ideas about kind of if this is a mermaid, what interpretive maneuver is there to make from that point? What association do we? What new insight? If we identify this as a mermaid, what new insight do we get? And perhaps I give up too quickly. But if we say that this is a mermaid, then how does that help us unlock? How is that the Rosetta Stone for everything else that is happening in this scene right here, right? Two bears high-fiving. Yeah, I think that's why I am loath to come to a conclusion about the mermaidness of this creature right here, because I don't know that mermaids have an association or a meaning or an icon that, like with the unicorn up here and these other kinds of more mythologically charged images, we do have this idea of purity, and in fact, the association of unicorns with virgins certainly has a lot to tell us about a certain interpretation of the account of the Garden of Eden, right? I think the unicorn has a lot to say about purity and an unspoiled idyllic world. And I don't think that this bottom corner is leading us that way. And in fact, I want to talk about these fruits here. So again, like if this tree up here is not the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, this tree certainly is. And I think, so we have the serpent on the tree right here. Although the serpent, according to the text, doesn't lose his legs until after that all happens. But maybe there's a polyscenic nature to this, and not just because it's a triptych, but because of just the treatment of time and space on this, even this single panel, I think is really worth chewing on. And but with this tree, it's just like, here we have this idea of like this parasitic vine that doesn't quite belong, growing up and borrowing the form of a tree, and it's like the vine of the grape is this kind of parasitic entanglement, this serpentine form in and of itself. And I just, what a wonderful take. We're not necessarily getting the same kind of, because if there's any apples, the Bible doesn't say anything about, Genesis doesn't say anything about apples. It says the fruit of the tree, right? It's Milton that we get the apple from. The choice of the possible choice of grape, I think, really has a lot to say about alcoholism, and we can kind of take a look out for what the painting's view on drink is in future panels. Yeah. This is good. Below the water, it's a fish, and above we get the cloak and hands of the book. Yes, this is good. If it's a mermaid, it's a short walk to the river Styx. Brandon is saying this. I would love to hear you say more about this, but is this Dante imagery we're bringing into this? Is this divine comedy? Twice Dead Mage is asking, it's like, what's going on with the horror Mario music? Well, it's just a playlist that's safe for streams. I really couldn't comment on any individual. I barely can hear the music. I have it turned down. It's just something to fill the awkward silences. Yeah, right. But again, platypi are from from Australia, I think. I don't actually know where platypi are. Where a platypus is from. I have no idea. Now that I say this out loud, I'm shocked that I don't know. That seems like something I would have obsessed over as a kid, but yeah, I don't know. Who knows if platypus were known? We certainly get a lot of like other kind of duck-billed creatures and whatnot, but again, I think we kind of have a movement of time, like through this early creation, and everything is acting as we expect it to, and we have kind of like this raw form of God's creative energy on the world, and the what we would call now a speciation, and this is this true value of everything, and then we get the introduction of humans. They're doing their whole thing. And I don't know, maybe they're in the process of being scolded right now for eating of the tree. It's kind of difficult to say. I love this guy. Is this? Oh, it's a rabbit that is facing away from us, perhaps in shame. Oh, I like this. Even this rabbit is embarrassed to see the scolding that we are being given here. Yes, I think this is interesting. But I think we kind of get this idea of a perversion of nature, that things are not doing what they're supposed to do here, that things are going awry at this point. And perhaps, that is also what we see happening here, like these three-headed creatures and beetles and all of these forces are we kind of see the plan kind of going off the rails in anticipation of the tree. Yeah. So this is wonderful stuff, right? I think it's, the point of me looking at this stuff is just to kind of show how I like to look at paintings, and I like to look at them for an awful long time sometimes. And then we kind of get, all of this in the middle, and I think it's very easy to interpret this first panel. This is the Garden of Eden. This is Genesis, right? And I think it's pretty easy to interpret this panel here as well, right? Like this is the end of the world. This is hell. This is the bad things. But what are we led to believe about this middle panel here? Is the middle panel, which takes up the majority of our area here, is that a good thing or a bad thing? It's certainly very colorful. It certainly looks like everybody's having a good time. But what do we think? Is this sort of Hieronymus Bosch's we didn't start the fire? Is this the summation of all human history all in one image? Are things getting better or getting worse? These are the questions. Wait, does that rock look like it has a face to anyone? Oh, yes. Let's look at some rocks here. If we buy into the concept of Akashic records, Bosch could have dreamt of an antipodal platypus existence. What an interesting. Yes, I guess, depending on your point of view, if I just adopt the point of view that allows for this to happen, it's very easy to prove anything. Brandon is saying, we also see creatures consuming each other. The first depiction of violence as we approach the black pool. That's not exactly true, because we do have the lion eating the carcass of the deer right here, and in fact the crows waiting for that carcass to kind of free up. But I think there's a big difference in how this violence is being depicted here and how this violence is being depicted here. I think this is pandemonium. I think this is much less orderly. I think all of this is things have gone awry, and I don't think that, generally speaking, Bosch has a super high opinion of birds. But yeah, like what does, before we go to Wikipedia, before we look at the wall text, before we listen to the audio tour, like what do we make of these images? But I agree, Brandon. I think there's something very different. And perhaps it's wrong to call the lion violence, but I think there's something else happening here. There's something else characterizing the activity in these images down here. So I think you are indeed onto something. I've always felt that the work was all of the panels were a concurrent time. Yes, it could be. Could be. I think there's lots of ways to look at it. Boy, I kind of wonder if the stream's going to get shut down for all the naked people, but I think we're about ready to roll the dice on that. Maybe I can find some less saucy versions of this. But let's take a look-see up here in the sky. Let's start up here. What is happening? Yes, what on God's green earth could we be looking at here? What could this mean? You know, it's far too early. We haven't not yet made our thorough inventory of symbols to make our first guess as to what this means. But it's like, what are we actually seeing? So we see what looks like a bear being carried by a griffin that is being ridden by a person that is holding the branch of a tree upon which a bird is sitting. Very strange, very odd, right? I think we see an escalation of the chaos from the bottom right of the previous panel. I think, at the top left right here, if we are to read this as a book, as indeed the whole piece opens as a book, so that might be what we're looking at. I think we get this quizzical scene, and we see things that things are proceeding in a chaotic direction. Clap. It's a good time. That's what's happening. Look, all these people look like they're having the time of their. Even this bear is just like, whee! So yes. Twice Dead Mage says, ask yourself this. Yeah. Brandon, I won't read that. No offense. Brandon says, we got some good Earthbound tunes for all of this good nonsense. Very fitting. There is sort of like a Bosch-y nature to Earthbound, isn't there? Going into Friday, yeah. I love it. Let's look at some more of these images right here. We have this other kind of structure that seems to be made out of a very similar material, but it's much more higgledy-piggledy, right? This is much more hodgepodge. This is a kit-bashed version of our fountain from the previous image right here. Very strange, right? And we have even more of these, and this is, again, we have kind of like this symmetry, but all of these other structures are in fact all skewered together and hodgepodged and changed. It's like there's the run. Ooh, who's this guy? What's this guy's deal? I want to know all about him. I have so many questions. So this is certainly a mermaid. It looks like he's wearing like some kind of suit of armor or something like that. He's riding upon a flying fish, and he looks like he's navigating this fish with this fish hook or fishing cherry. What an amazing image. And it's just this tiny little thing, just like a couple of brush strokes. But look at this, look at the detail on this cherry. Like it's like, talk about your fundamentals of light. We have the reflected light kind of bouncing off of the ground and the sky, and then kind of the highlight of where the sun's coming from and all this. It's just like, what attention to rendering we're seeing here. And here we have more of these birds kind of firing out of these giant flutes and caves and whatnot. Very, very strange. Here we have, I mean, is this an angel? Is that what we're led to believe? Like, this is certainly an angelic figure. I mean, it's a winged humanoid. Here's another one right below it, carrying a fish. The birds seem to be getting Uber rides from everybody, right? So this bird's not flying, this bird's not flying. These birds are. This bird's upside down. This bird's just catching a ride. What's going on here? It would be the easiest thing in the world to say, like, I don't know, and just kind of move on, right? The Mermaid Knight looks like it's on a whale instead of a fish. Yeah, could be. And I think it's important to recognize that, you know, for many people living in times before Ranger Rick magazine or David Attenborough, the difference between a fish and a whale wouldn't really make a huge distinction. That's not a significantly different category. We must keep that in mind as well. At this point, it's hard to believe that this guy didn't like alcohol. Yes, I mean, we certainly do get the impression that there's an altered state involved in this. But I'll say, you know, I certainly don't drink, and I don't take any psychedelics or anything like that. And I feel like I have a perfectly easy time coming up with wacky things to draw. But yeah, it's certainly that is sort of the how these things often go, right? Angels are messengers of God, and God is planning something, and it ain't good. Well, that would certainly be a departure from the text, I think. Sam, ooh, what if they aren't cherries, but they're grapes and their connection? Yeah, I think so. Although I you know, it's like, I think that's something to look for, right? Like, what is the treatment of grapes? I mean, they could be, but they're certainly not the same color. You know, we have sort of like all these different fruits, but when we look at the grapes, they do seem to be kind of more, you know, more like white and red grapes. Kenny says, like the taming of the wilderness, except all these birds seem to be along for the ride by choice. Yeah. Bosch ate moldy bread at some point. Yeah, perhaps so. Perhaps all of this is a bit of undigested beef. But that is the time that we have to look at paintings now. We will certainly revisit Bosch's wonderful work in a bit, but we will. In the meantime, we have an episode of Splatbook to record, and we are right on schedule for our connection to cut out again. So. So let's go over to the Splatbook cam. Hello, everybody again. It's wonderful to be on camera. I'm never nervous about it. But let's see if we can't get our good friend John on the horn and start recording this. Okay. Boom. Okay. Okay, this is great. Let's see, can we get this to be that and it works out? And then, okay, let's try this. We'll see how this goes. Let's see here. An error. An error has been encountered while joining the call. That's not what I want. I want it to say everything's okay. It says I'm in the green room, but I am in fact in the call. I am. We are in the process of recording an episode of the podcast Splatbook. So I am trying to join a call with John so that we can do this. That is what is happening. Twice Dead Mage. Maybe let's try it without video. Here we go.
There he is.
Here I am. And I think you should.
Hey there. Put up decorations.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. John, I don't have you actually on screen. Did you want to be? I assumed you wouldn't want to be.
I'd be happy to be. I'd be happy to do it.
Let me see if I can work that out.
Because then otherwise people are only hearing your half of the conversation. That would be weird.
Well, people will be able to hear you, I believe. My audio is cutting.
Yours is. Okay, it looks okay to me.
That's what I'm hearing from chat.
You know what I think we should do? Let's pause. Let me restart this where it's voice only.
Okay.
So that we're not trying to run like multiple video streams of ourselves at the same time, because given the quality of our internet. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna stop this and send you a new invite.
Okay. All right. And I see that we can hear John, but it's pretty darn quiet. I will fix that in a moment. All right, so let's turn the desktop audio up. And we're just troubleshooting this we're troubleshooting the call here, folks, so I appreciate your patience. But this is our scheduled day to record, and we hope you all enjoy the conversation. Here we go. Okay. And we're loading. And we're waiting. Did I hear?
All right.
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right.
I'm hoping that everyone else can. At this point, I see it popping up on my audio mixer, so I would assume that we are.
All right.
Yeah. I think we're all
cool.
all good to go. So if you want to start recording, you already have. Oh.
I am. We're here.
All right. No idea how this is going to go. This may in fact be entirely too much strain for my little internet that could to work out. Cool. Okay. That sounds much better. Yeah. I think
All
John,
right, cool.
you had the right idea about getting rid of the extra video stream. I think that was definitely cutting into it. So yes. So yeah, we will. I will do my best to catch up on the live chat for the folks watching this on YouTube, and we will just take this time for John and I to talk about what we're going to talk about. And I should probably actually get my cat out of here.
I think Kyle's cat hates me. This is my new thing. He always, the cat's been cool for 3 hours on stream, but sure, John shows up and forget it.
Yeah, so feel free to talk to all the nice people, John. I will be right back.
Well, hey everybody, thanks for joining us, and thanks for inviting me to your stream. I'm excited to be part of the Monstrous Kickstarter, and I am super excited to. I think we're close. I'm tempted to ask Amber for an update, but I'm not going to. So I'm gonna keep quiet about it. But yeah, and I think you might have muted yourself, Kyle, or I can't hear you anymore. One of those two. There you go. I can see you. Oh no, lo-fi banishment. Yes, correct. Uh-oh, there it goes. Hey, Gabby, thanks for joining. I guess I get to tap dance for a minute while Kyle restarts the stream. I'm excited to record a live episode. I have never recorded live on the internet before, Kyle, so this is very exciting for me. Did your stream die, or do you need to restart it?
Oh,
on my screen it says "We'll be right back."
Oh yeah, no, that's what it's supposed to say. That just I don't want to show.
Okay, good.
I don't want to show my bare butt on stream. Surprise! I'm not wearing pants, everyone. No. I don't want people to be like, "Where's Kyle? Where's Kyle?" So I just put that up for just 1 second.
That's
but I'm back.
wise.
I'm back,
yeah,
baby.
Are you going to take a break at all today?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
I'll take a break. But I also I don't know. I teach 6-hour classes, and I ate before this.
I was going to say. I once said to my sister and my wife simultaneously, do you guys need a break or do you need to hit the restroom? And they both said without pausing, we were both teachers. We can go days without using the bathroom. So
yes,
we'll be fine.
Yeah, if I need to take a break, I'll let you know.
All right, awesome.
But yeah. So I gotta pull up my notes.
You got to pull up your notes. You got to read the intro.
I got to read my intro.